Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully the audio's coming in all right. I know it sounds like a broken freaking record when I say that. Yeah, that's kind of the nature of the beast. Let me turn that down. I think the last time. Yeah, there we go. It gets rid of. I turned down this, and hopefully it gets rid of any echo. Not sure if you hear an echo, but I do. Well, welcome one and all. This is just another random live, except we are in the Outlaw Saloon. Welcome. Saddle right up to the bar. Have yourself thirst quencher. We don't serve monster drinks here, just saying. Sorry, firefighters. Sorry. We serve lots of Gatorade and water. Well, anyways, I wanted to update on quite a few things actually. Um, Old project, new project. What's what's stirring in the weeds basically. Um, Last, I want to say it was the last Outlaw Saloon that I think it was, that I was looking for help, and input from you all, um, on a project that I have designated, temporarily speaking, Project Wildfire. Wonder where I got that name from. Anyways, Project Wildfire is a zombie apocalypse project that I wanted to do just as sort of a hobby thing. Uh, since it's going to be snowing tonight and tomorrow, and well, you know, c'est la vie. It is the season, but kind of puts me on the inside for a lot of things. So I'll have more time inside than I do outside. Rob's neighbor. Good day to you, sir. Hope your day is fantastical. Is that a word? Anyways, so yeah, that the project. I got lots of ideas from the community, from you guys, last Outlaw Saloon. So it kind of organically morphed, right? So the project idea that I had started, started A, but morphed into C. That doesn't make any sense. Anyways, well, I started with one idea. Now it's not completely different, but it's not exact. You know what? I'll just leave it at that. I'm going to talk myself into a hole. So, um, it let me go back and tell you the original idea. Maybe that'll help, right? So the original idea I had, because I've been listening to some of these YouTube videos of, the zombie apocalypse. What do you call it there? Ambiance, right? Ambience, however you pronounce it, depending on if you're pinky up or down. I have no idea, but I like listening to it. And there was one that caught my attention, and it was an animated background, and I think it was raining. It might have been raining outside. The viewpoint is like in the living room, right? And there's no movement other than like a flickering fireplace, the rain dribbling outside, and you got the sound effects that go along with those. But on a table, on like the end table or whatever, was a radio, and it sounded. They made it sound like the radio was on, and it sounded just like you were listening to a radio station, and the radio station was like, boom, um, realistic, right? So it had some music. One of them didn't. One of them had dead space. So like where there would have been music, it was kind of dead space. Me personally, I'm going to add music in, and I can do that with AI programs to help me out, so that I'm not I'm not dabbling in the copyright infringement crap on YouTube. Firefighter, front and center. How's it going? Hope you're having a blessed day. I already told everybody that they can saddle up to the bar, but we don't serve monster drinks. Sorry, Gatorade and water, buddy. That's all we deal with. So I was talking about the now newly named, and this is just a temporary name, Project Wildfire. Project Wildfire is the zombie apocalypse radio broadcast type thing that I'll be doing as my project. Fine, be that way. Be that way. Look, I could put Gatorade in a monster can if that'll help. Is that enough to just kind of like, hey, come on back, Don't leave the doors a swinging. Come on. You know you wanna. So it changed from my dog randomly barking at absolutely nothing. Molly, get over here. You blind as a bat. Get over here. Nerd. All right. She's 13 this month. She turns 13 years old this month. She can't see. She's not completely blind, but she's pretty darn close. It's all about presentation. See? Yeah. Good negotiator. All right. So Project Wildfire is something that started out as something like that. You know, animated background, little radio on the stand. And then you get like the zombie apocalypse starting, during, post, whatever, all through the radio, right? Well, it started from that to, well, now I really want to make it more of a story. And I have been note-taking like a mofo. I didn't swear. And I took everybody's comments and advice, threw it together, and like I said originally, it organically kind of morphed into that direction instead of just a simple little animated background. Now, once you get to know me, you're going to know that I go big or go home. And that's the way my brain has always worked. It doesn't stick with the KISS method, keep it simple. It says, how can I complicate this more? And that's exactly what I do. Or that's what I end up doing. But I love a challenge. Always have. So that's what this is. It's kind of a challenge. I did make a post to the community on my channel with a picture. And you guys can check it out if you want. But it's the stat of the project. It's officially underway. I've been doing voices this morning, or this afternoon rather, and doing some minor recording, then tuning it a bit to get that realistic radio sound, with the hiss and the whine of the background static and stuff like that. Of course, that's not, the main goal of it. It's just to give it that slight crackle, like the station's kind of in but kind of out at the same time. And it came out all right. WKRP Bismarck. That is the radio name for the station. I don't know. Sometimes radio stations will have like a longer moniker or something like that. Like the Bear, or this is the something radio station, right? There was one back in Maine, and it played like current rock or whatever at the time, which is the 90s. But it was 92 Moose, right? So they had, this is 92 Moose, tune in to hear your hits, whatever. But so I made up some completely, and the WQRP, probably I don't know if anybody would remember a TV show based on a radio station. Just checked out the post. I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate it, brother. Um, but WQRP. Does that sound familiar to anybody? It was a TV show. I can't remember if it was late 70s or 80s. Definitely 80s. But it was WKRP in Cincinnati. That was the TV show about the radio station. You guys don't know about it, I just challenge you to Google it, man, or even go on, like, YouTube here, or a separate YouTube, and look up some, like, TV clips, and it was hilarious. It was a comedy sitcom, but it was hilarious. So instead of WKRP, it's WQRP, Bismarck, not Cincinnati. All right, bro. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to get the beginning. That's why I'm writing down, like, what to say, or at least highlights of, like, I'll write down something that might trigger, like, boom, because I want it to be as I want me as the radio announcer in the story to have as much realistic vibe as I possibly can get. Okay? Basically, if I write down a word, I want it to jazz something in my head, where I just look at it and then I shoot from the hip from there. But the gist of that word is in whatever I say. But I want it to be spontaneous, right? I want it to be, non-scripted per se, right? So that's kind of where I'm going at with that. Now, I have been dabbling through the internet at some programs, I guess, if you will, that basically, how would I put it? It basically makes up, like, its own AI voice, because that's something that I'm going to rely on pretty heavily. I can voice one, but I have, with the free programs, which is what I'm subject to. With the free programs, you're kind of hindered with what you can do. Like, you can change. Excuse me. You can change everything, like pitch and tone and things like that, but that makes your voice sound deep, or it makes your voice sound high. It really doesn't give you that separation of, it's another entity, it's another person, or whatever the case may be. Um, but there's programs that allow that, right? However, it seems like every AI program out there wants this. Oh, it's killing me, Smalls. um, to do something on less than a shoestring budget is almost impossible nowadays. It used to be, it's like, oh, here's a program, you can use it and, have fun with it, right? And I like, those are the programs that, especially if they work and they're useful to me, I would love to have extra money and just donate, to be like, hey, keep updating it, keep improving it. Those are the programs I could do that for. But the ones that instantly are like, I'm going to give you a little taste, and then you got to pony up the dough. Subscription. Yeah. No. No. Oh, hell no. No, 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 no. No, homie, don't play those games. Okay? So, I'm trying to find something that I can get some AI voices on. Now, even things like ChatGPT. What's the other one? There was another one that offered something similar to it, but even those have a limitation to it. Like ChatGPT, I do not know if it does audio. I haven't tried that, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I'm pretty sure you can have a contextual conversation with it to get dialogue right for a story, but I don't think it actually voices the story. I think that's kind of like hindered to a separate program altogether. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with dogs that love to be mouthy. There you go. Go get it, Molly. They see anybody like walking or whatever, and they lose their mind. So Project Wildfire is underway. Wanted to give you guys an update simply on that. I'm not going to say too much more than what I already have, because I don't know if I'll be making a video on it. I might, because it is such a long project uh, to do. Um, and some you asking like, why are you doing these projects that are like lengthy? Like they take years or months or whatever. Well, that's why I don't get burnt out, and it'll keep me busy. So the oops, sorry, over here. Excuse me. That the ship project is something that will take. I don't know. I projected 2 years, and I could be optimistic, but 2 years is about what I'm kind of guessing the ship project is going to take. Could be longer, could be shorter, but I'm assuming around that. That's kind of the time frame 23 years ago when I first did the project that it roughly took. It actually took a lot longer, but back then, anyways. Um, because believe it or not, back then I was strapped even worse than I am now. Um, so I do this. If I get to a hitch where I'm either getting burnt out or the funds just aren't there to progress into the project, then I have Project Wildfire, my zombie apocalypse project on the computer. So I have things that I can bounce back and forth, and we're all good, kind of thing. So, um, and speaking of that, all the rib outlines have been cut out. The first 20 ribs have been traced onto the 1/4 inch. The keel itself has been cut. So, progression. Oh, and speaking of which, my goodness. I know there's snow coming. The weather changes, and boy, it's just all sorts of nasty. Anyways, um, because up here, even though it's snows and stuff like that, it's still during the wintertime and even the summertime, it's drying the popcorn fat. Uh, so it really dries out your throat. What the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, so back there. Okay, so the ribs have been traced out. Keel has been cut out. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, I cut out I cut out the outlines to the rest of the ribs. There we go. To be able to throw together. Sacre bleu. Yeah. Tell you what, there's something, huh? Oh, Frenchie comes out now, huh? I've been pretty impressed with the progress being made so far with the ship, so that's pretty cool. And then, of course, the excitement of starting the Project Wildfire is even better. So I do have other things that are in motion. Oh yeah, I was gonna say that's what I was gonna say. The ship, yes. I just uploaded a video I should have uploaded like 2 days ago, or a day ago, or whatever. Um, so I'm not all. I I'm new to this editing and like taking videos and stuff because a majority of my content is really just shoot from the hip live streams, right? Or take a short and it's like, oh, catch a moment and boink, and then upload it, right? Um, this time I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a video, and I'm gonna try and well, I made my videos, and it was like I planned to do this. So this is what kind of like insanely dumb about this whole thing, but I planned on making these videos and then editing, which is why I was going to ask Firefighter via email. Sorry, brother, I haven't done that. Got busy here. But I was going to send an email to him, ask him, okay, this is what I got. This is what I want. How do I edit? Right? How do I edit this to make it look somewhat decent? Right? And I'm not bashful. I would have sent my phone number as well, and I still might. Just so it's like it's easier to talk or video or whatever on the phone if he ever has any time, because I know he's busy. What I did after I made those videos, and I said, okay, and I'm done, right? Walked away, and then I found myself like literally minutes, maybe, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes later, I come back down and boom, live stream. I haven't even done anything. I hadn't emailed him. I haven't messed with the videos on my phone because that's how I was recording it at the time. And it was a mess because now I have these videos that should have come out before the live stream. Does that make sense? Are we tracking? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Okay? Because now everything's kabuki, right? Completely, tits up. So I was like, and I didn't know that really until after I had finished my live stream, going, well, that went well. And then I just like I instantly thought of those videos, and I'm like, crap. I'm like, how am I going to do this one? Right? And when you do a live stream, anybody's ever done a live stream, it takes a while to process. Like I personally haven't figured out a way to edit or whatever, to change anything on it until it's done processing. However, when it's done processing, boink, it's public. And I didn't see the need to try and wait, to put it not public because it was already public, to put it like private or something like that. And I was like, okay, well, now I'm going to have to like backpedal. To make it, yes, it gets worse than this. To make it even worse, what I did was I made a few videos yet even after that because I after the live stream I went ahead and I did and I progressed and I was like, oh, this is cool. I should make a video of this, and I did. So now here I have videos before the live stream that aren't uploaded. So I have all this pre stuff, the live stream, which literally now is before the pre stuff, and the post stuff, which is after the live stream, which is before the pre stuff. I'm just saying. Okay, so this is like, yeah. There should be another word above wanted, right above my head. Should be help wanted. This is okay. So this is what I did. I said, you know what? I'm going to solve all of this in one fell swoop and literally make absolutely no sense in the process. But I said, I'm going to do it anyways. So I continued the original plan and I put the videos together. I put the videos pre live stream and the videos post live stream. I squashed it together. I made a small little excerpt video earlier, actually this morning, basically stating I screwed up. Here are all the videos. I'm going to call it Rascals Rewind because I have no idea what I'm doing. And this is all the gobbledygook of what I just explained to you a few minutes ago. Blah. And then I just vomited it on YouTube. So that's Rascals Rewind. Is still a part of the North Carolina Battleship Project, but it goes by a different name for this one. Hopefully, it is the first and last of Rascals Rewind because I really didn't want to do that, but it was the only way to because I felt that there was content in those videos that I really wanted to put up there. You know, when you search up 196 scale USS North Carolina battleship, or even 196 scale, battleship, um, you find a lot of like 5 to 12 year old RC warship type stuff, but none of them show you how they made it. None of them show you the process that they got to that point. They just show you, hey, I threw it in my local pond and our group met up and we shot at each other and we had a blast. Yeah, well, that's great. How'd you build it? Right? My engineer mind wants to know, how'd you build it? And I haven't been able to find anything except for one single source. And it's a website that was done, I don't even know, probably about the same time that I built it in the first place, but I didn't know about it back then. But the website's 20 something years old, hasn't been updated in the same amount of time, so resources are limited. So I was like, anything I do on this battleship project, I consider a hidden gem to people who might be interested in doing something similar. And it doesn't even have to be in the same scale. But guess what? This is where you can get the plans. These are all the different scales that you can get the plans in, and you can build it, yourself. I encourage working with your hands. I'm not dogging anybody that works on the computer every day, but I really do hope that the art of doing things and thinking, doesn't go away. Handcrafted stuff still means something. God knows, you go to a craft thing or whatever, not craft sale. What the hell am I thinking? Craft something, right? Where people make handcrafted stuff. To me, they bloat the price. They literally think that their shit don't stink to the point where they can charge whatever they want to, right? I've even seen people take a picture, have it printed out in a big, and add like this, $7 wooden frame to it, and then want to charge $400 because they took a picture of a sunset and stuck a frame on it. What? Dude, if you painted it, oil painting or something like that, and that was your creation, I don't give two Twinkies what you're looking at. Yeah, I'm not going to spend $400+ on a picture that I literally can go to the same spot with my camera phone and take the same picture for free. So I don't know. I'm going to get off my soapbox. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, definitely, if you guys are thinking of any type of project, always, always, always think, how can I do it myself? How can I accomplish it, right? And how can I do it with my hands? You won't regret it. there's a as a Christian, you're told not to be prideful, but there is a sense of pride when you finish doing something, like say something like this. 23 years ago, there definitely was when I was almost complete when it almost completed back then, and I was just filled with pride. I was so proud of what I accomplished. Make no bones about that. That was something that took me years to do, and I thought it came out looking pretty good. So, so yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I suppose. Wonder if I can do that in that. No, I suppose I couldn't, and it would look probably choppy. Because I could. Let me check. See if I can do this on the fly. On the fly, on the fly. Scooby Doo, bidoo bidoo. All right, where was the last? Okay, so I don't have not many pictures have survived over the years of the project I did 23 years ago. But there you go. That right there was the last picture of the project I did 23 years ago. Kind of like a moment back in time. But that's, and I remember, like I said, resources were even harder for me to get a hold of. But the one thing I remember about that the most, I love math. Used to be really good at it before the injury, but I love math. And you got a buttload of it working on a project like this. And you better be accurate because literally one mistake and you're going to see it. And you want to catch, if you do have those mistakes, you want to catch them early and often as you possibly can. Because when you get to that stage, you do not want to realize that certain ribs weren't sanded enough and were off or whatever, and now you got this side of the battleship going, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, sound effects are free. I'm telling you. So, so that was pretty. That was pretty cool. Early on, early on in the project, this is what she looked like. We'll go with this one. There. Now this shows you the quality of camera phones 23 years ago as opposed to what they are today. So what they are today are vastly different. But there you go. So you stick the ribs just like that. Now you'll notice I hollowed out and cut every single rib. Boom, 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 boom. The only reason why I cut out the middle of the rib was because I needed the room. That one was going to be made to do RC warships. So I needed the turret mechanisms, the gun mountings, the electronics, the motors. I mean, everything had to be jammed in. And you think it's like, wow, but it's 7'7". You run out of room real quick when you're talking 3 turrets that rotate and elevate. Okay, with it. I wasn't going to do the elevation just because of the cost, but the original thought when I first started it back then was I was going to have it so that the turrets actually elevated, just like in real life. So they rotated and then elevated. But all that takes gobbledygook behind the scenes, right? So underneath it. So you needed all that space. And let me tell you, that's 1/4 inch. I can't remember what I used for the keel. Because I used a flat bottom keel on that one, and I chose not to on this one. I chose to use a straight keel on this one. And again, the flat bottom keel for this, and it really doesn't make too much of a difference. It does only if you're doing it for static display. So if I was back then doing that as static display, it would have been a single run keel. Right? That's the bottom of the boat. Ship. Ooh, sorry. It was the bottom of the ship. But that right there, when I did it, I needed something durable to hold all the weight of everything I just told you that gets jam packed inside that. Now, am I doing that with this one? I know on Firefighter's last live stream, which wasn't too long ago, so go check out his his channel and go to his last live, and it came up briefly in the conversation because I think he thought that I was doing the RC warship component with this one as well. No, this is going to be static display only. Matter of fact, I'll be getting some plexiglass and some oak trim, and I plan on making basically a sealed case for it with lights. Well, isn't that just nice? That was Ginger. You old lady. Good Lord. You just an old lady. Yeah. You old lady. Good girl, though. You good girl. Okay, so that's the update on the ship. So I've talked about Project Wildfire, the Zombie Apocalypse radio broadcast project that I'm doing. I've talked about the 196 scale USS North Carolina battleship project, which is awesome. I think it's awesome. Awesome. Let me get back to reality here. If I can find it. Uh-oh. Where'd I put it? I'll go with that one. Holy hugeness, Batman. Woo. Let me get this to a reasonable size here. There we go. Yeah, something pretty to look at. Never guess what that is. Ah. I wish it was my bike, but that's what my bike could look like. Except I'm not going with that seat. I'm going with a camelback seat. And of course, then again, it's all up to my boy, who is out of boot camp and fully fledged in his training. Boot camp and his initial training all take place in Benning. Then he has another round of training after that, which I believe is airborne training. His grandpa will be proud. 101st Screaming Buzzards. Screaming Eagles. No, that's a nice picture. I like that picture. I love the color. Yamaha blue, man. You can't go wrong with that color. Like, it just rocks. He can do whatever he wants with the bike. I'm gonna be there as his little patsy, and here's a wrench. Like an old man in the corner. Here's the wrench, right? So let's see. 42 minutes. That ain't bad. And I was able to cover 2 topics. I think that's really about it. I'm not entirely sure Uh, Being that this is a Friday and nothing's going on tonight, go get a drink of water. See, dry air, man. Telling you, it even affects the dogs. She'll be turning 13 in February. Thumper, over that way, Thumper will be turning 5 in January. So our animules are getting old. If anybody's ever owned a rabbit, 5 years old is about midlife crisis stage for a rabbit. Um, they can vary from 7 to 9 years. At least that's what you know vet Google will tell you. But hopefully we'll have them around quite a long time. Dogs, on the other hand, all the ones I had growing up that even led like a really good life. 16 years is about it, because they really start going to pot, around the 14-year mark. And these two dogs, Molly and Ginger, are turning 13. So we'll see. They already got some issues, but knock on wood, man. And I would knock on wood, but that would probably jump them and cause them to go into a back fest. And I don't want my ears obliterated yet again today just from them backing. There we go. I don't know why that happened. What we got over here? Oh yeah, firefighter. Send some popcorn. What is that? Project Wildfire. Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha. That was on the post I made. There we go. All back. All back. So what's everybody else doing today? Um, Hopefully you guys are going to have an amazing Friday evening and relax from the work week, depending on if anybody has a Monday through Friday type of job. I do want to go back to that other project, only because it's kind of fresh on my mind, Project Wildfire. Um, I'm a zombie nerd. I don't know everything there is lore wise, um, but it fascinated me. Not not necessarily like what it is, but it always fascinated me even as a kid. The fact that something dead comes back to life. So someone, right? Someone someone you cared for, someone you loved with everything you had is now dead. So then you go through the mourning process, right? Immediately. Oh, my so and so is dead. Oh, and then it starts to move. And, a glimmer of hope. Oh, they weren't dead. They weren't dead, and then it tries to eat you, right? I believe in the Romero zombies. Not because not because if there was ever a zombie apocalypse was to happen, that's what I'm hoping for. I just think that's more. Can you say it's more realistic about a fantasy topic? Does that even make sense? But in my mind, it does, and that's what I'm gonna run with it. Slower zombies. They're not in full control of their body, right? If we were going down the what if rabbit hole, right? So that's, to me, is the creepiest, because take the remake, Zack Snyder's 2004 remake of Dawn of the Dead. Those zombies ran faster when they were dead than they ever did when they were alive. It made no sense. But if you looked at it, you shelter in place. Period. End of discussion. You do not go out and, I think I'm going to scavenge for food. Nope. Nope. In that in that reality that Zack Snyder made in that remake was so intense that humanity had zero chance, period. Because no matter where you were, are going to be, you were just going to be run down and joining them, or a buffet, one or the other. So I just don't think that that would be a realistic scenario. It was cool to see, right? And you kind of play around with the idea, but I just don't ever see that happening if we ever had a zombie apocalypse. Do I believe that we're going to have a zombie apocalypse ever? No. And when the Bible, if anybody wants to throw that out, when the Bible says that, how did it say it? When the dead are raised, yeah, raised up in heaven. Jesus meets the dead. The dead in Christ shall rise. Not, you know, Nana Twinkletoes gets out of her grave and starts eating brains, right? It has nothing to do with that. But I do love to toy the idea. I do like going down that rabbit hole. And so, like, the Romero zombies gives you. This is why I think they're worse than the remake of Dawn of the Dead, the Zack Snyder zombies, we'll call them. I think because they're slow moving, but they're more, they have a tendency to group, right? Because of a noise or whatever, right? You look at the beginning episodes, or season 1, rather, of The Walking Dead. That is like a perfect depiction. You can get trapped in areas, and then finally they'll just kind of wander off, right? Because they don't have that mental acuity. So I like that fact, but it also makes it so that you kind of get complacent, right? I can see people getting very complacent because they're like, okay, they're slow, and if I do this and this and this, and if you do it for like long enough time, like you've been doing it for like a couple weeks, you're surviving, you're rocking it out, you're scavenging. I mean, everything's going great. It only takes one slip up, and you have like a horde of zombies blocking all your exit routes, and you're toast, right? You don't have enough bullets. There's no way out. You're stuck in an alleyway, let's say, and both ends of the alleyway are being, converged on, if you will. I like talking about zombies. I'm hoping that one day my kids will watch these videos and be like, "Dad was a complete fruitcake," and they would be 100% correct. So, and I don't mind. I don't mind being the comic relief, if you will. I've always been that, so to speak, in just about any gathering, whether it be family, friend, or otherwise. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to Project Wildfire. That'll be fun. I don't know, off topic now, I don't know about when my boy will get a chance to come up here. Um, well, especially now. I mean, you think about it with the government shutdown, and the Democrats need to pull their heads out of their asses. They need to open this government back up. But there's a rabbit hole we could go down. Do politics on the channel. I wouldn't care if we did or not. Actually, I talk about my religion, so I suppose there we go. I've already broken half the rules, right? You're not supposed to talk about politics or religion, right? So, but it used to be unwritten rules, anyways. Don't talk about those things, because people always get it, testy and whatever. And I'm like, bring it. Hold my beer. Because we got a topic to discuss, kind of thing. But I know people are feeling the pinch all over the states, and I really wish it wasn't the case. I really wish that, and this isn't one of those things where I can say, well, I really wish all politicians could get off their tuchus and get out there and open the government. Wow, both sides are to blame. No, I'm not a staunch Republican. Okay, I vote for who I think is best in office. But I'll tell you one thing: seeing this is just, it does remind me. Republicans have made mistakes in the past. Obviously, nobody's perfect. Not you, not me, not anybody else. And it's no different for these guys. But to say that it's both parties that caused the shutdown is, in my opinion, ridiculous. I'm entitled to have one, and I know what they are. No, I know the old saying about opinions, so I get that. But with this, I really do have to stand on the Republican side of things, because the Democrats knew full well, even stating that they can't vote to open the government because they would lose their, get this is from them, not me, I'm not making this up, leverage. They would lose their leverage. So they think the American people are tools as leverage for political gain. Are you effing kidding me? Now, I don't care if you personally are Democrat, Independent, Republican, whatever, right? You can identify as a rock, and I wouldn't care. But the point of it is, everybody feels this, and to realize that there is one group of people, the Democrats, causing the pain in this country, the lack of paychecks, people getting fired, shit canned, you name it. And they don't care because it's leverage. And I still don't even know what leverage they're talking about. It's a crazy, crazy world that we live in, and it's a mess. It's a mess. Eventually, will it be cleaned up? No, I don't think so. If we're talking realistically. Phone call. How dare you? Phone call. Hey, we were just talking about politics. Does that scare you off? We don't serve Monster drinks. We serve Gatorade and Monster drink cans that are emptied. And we talk religion and politics. You still game? So yeah, everybody feels the pinch, the pinch of this shutdown. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. We're just at a weird place in today's society in the United States, where a certain party, the Democrats, think it's okay to do this to the American people, the same people that they want to vote for them. To me, it doesn't make any sense, but whatever. We're in politics now. Let's go. Oh yeah, not so concerned about politics, but you were when I told you that we didn't serve Monster drinks. What's up, man? It's just not pleasing some people, right? Anyways, well, I'm sorry, firefighter. You did miss a really good one-off conversation about zombies. The differences between Romero zombies and Zack Snyder zombies. I don't even consider 28 Days Later zombies. I don't really consider World War Z zombies. Like those two things I classify as infected wingnuts, right? Uh, eh, it's like whatever. They're in their own little category. They can fight amongst themselves. But I was talking about my vision of Project Wildfire that I'll be doing is based on Romero zombies and how it's going to be more story driven and not just random ASMR type background stuff. That's what it started originally, but it kind of organically evolved thanks to primarily you, Motobomb, and Moto Alley. From the last Outlaw Saloon, you guys, I wrote down all the ideas and whatnot, and then I just kind of like as I was looking through all the advice and what you guys were, because I wrote down everything you guys said that pertained to that, and then I was like, okay, this is the storyboard, this is what we got, right? And then I was like, what makes sense? So it's like putting a puzzle together, with everybody's thoughts, right? And believe it or not, it just kind of morphed and organically just went kapoof into Project Wildfire. So now it's story driven, and now there'll be animation with it. So now it's not necessarily a one off thing like I was going to originally do, where it was only going to be 1 hour ASMR, radio broadcast, and you walk away and it's like, well, that was fun. But then it turned into go big or go home, and I'm go big, so let's do it, right? And I jumped in head first, and I said, all right, what if we did this, since we're making somewhat of a storyline anyways, let's take it a step further and create a more in-depth storyline that might span multiple episodes. I kind of like that idea, and just kind of rolled with it. Yes, you will. Firefighter says, you know me, I'll talk about it all. Yeah, I know that for a fact. I'll take another phone call if you bash monsters. You know what? One, because of my heart issues, the doctors absolutely said Nixay on the Onstermar A, drink A, or Pig Latin A. I don't know. Anyways, can't do it. Even though I'd like to. I've never had one. I'll check the playback and catch up. Oh, I didn't even see that one. I'll take another phone call. Oh no, I hate I missed it. Yeah, no, you did. It was long. Yeah, the running zombies are trash. Decomposing means joints, ligaments, and such would make it impossible to run. Well, that was my point that I was kind of trying to make between Zack Snyder's zombies from the 2004 remake of Dawn of the Dead to Romero's zombies, which his Dawn of the Dead, I think, accurately portrayed the start of something, right? Night of the Living Dead was all right, but if there was going to be, like, if they were to reorder it somehow, I think Dawn of the Dead would have been first, Night of the Living Dead would have been second, and then Day of the Dead, obviously, it would have been the third installment, like it is now. And they did a horrible, horrible reboot of Day of the Dead. it wasn't pleasant, but it's some of them are just a fun watch, but I was telling primarily the differences. You take Zack Snyder's zombies, for instance. They were better triathlon runners when they were dead, more so when they were alive. I don't get it. It almost wants me to throw that movie in with the mix with 28 Days Later and World War Z. where it's just way out there, kind of never would happen. Um, I'm in the more realistic zone in fantasy when it comes to that, where if I know it's not going to happen, but if it was, let's go down that rabbit hole. Like I said earlier, if it was going to happen, I think the Romero zombies would be more closely resembled to that. The dangerous aspect of the Zack Snyder, and this was what I was talking about earlier, the dangerous aspect is, or the difference is, shelter in place. The way they went about tinkering with that idea of that particular type of zombie, uh, basically meant you shelter in place. Period. You don't go out and scavenge. You don't do anything. If you fart loud enough, they're gonna just rip the house down and kill you anyways, right? Like you have zero chance in that world, in that Zack Snyder reality. There is no hope for the human race. Period. Um, Prove me wrong, all right? And not like personally, but you know what I mean. Like it's one of those like mic drop moments. Like prove me wrong, because there's you don't, the way they did it. There's no way you could survive any length of time in that world. Whereas the Romero zombies, you can do it successfully. However, the Achilles heel for survivors in a Romero zombie world is complacency. You're gonna let your guard down, and I made an example earlier. I was like, say you've been surviving for 2 weeks, right? A couple weeks, and you're rocking it out. You're going out. You're scavenging. You got this nice little stronghold, and you're kind of away from everything. Then one day you're going out there. It's like routine at this point. You know what you're doing. You go out there. You're in an alleyway, let's say, and you kick a glass bottle that shatters by accident, completely by accident, because you're just kind of like diddy bopping. You might have your little earbuds on and stuff, and boom, it's all over. They hoard one side. You try to get out the other. They're hoarding the other side. There is no way out, and that's where it really solidifies the creepiness and the horror aspect, the fear aspect in the Romero zombies. So hopefully that kind of like, and again, it's just, it's a what if rabbit hole, and that's just kind of like my opinion. But oh, you did see the remake. 28 years later was terrible. Released. I have not watched it, but I can't stomach myself to watch it. Now, I saw it. Obviously, I saw 28 Days Later. I saw what was it? The 28 Weeks, months. Was it months? I can't remember. It was the next one in the order of things, and I thought that was. It had Jeremy Renner. Is that his name? The one that plays in the Marvel movies, Hawkeye. Wasn't he in that second one? And of course, he got flamed at the end of it. But I thought that was a pretty decent movie. It's a fun watch. But when 28 years later came out, and I saw some preview vids on it, I was like, eh. I was like, yeah, this looks like, my son made a movie. I'm not doubting my son could make a good movie, but that was what it would look like. Jason is scary because he was slow but always caught up. Slow zombies that just moved as a horde was terrifying. Absolutely, that's what I mean. It was the fear factor about the Romero zombies that you just couldn't get away from. Right? I mean, you could survive, and if you did it right, you can survive for a long time. Right? I mean, you can look at how The Walking Dead treated it. You can look at how the beginning of Fear the Walking Dead, treated it as well. Both how do I say this? Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead. First season was great. Um, Second season, meh at best. After that, crap. The Walking Dead, the first three seasons were tight, man. They were good. They could have done a lot more, but what they put out, that was good, right? The first season being the best of all. But they switched producers, I think it was, right? After the first one, which was a mistake on their part. And they just kind of veered into, like, crapland, you know? Um, and then it just became sort of a wash, rinse, repeat. You had the governor, and then you had Negan, and then you had this, and then it's always somebody is trying to take over the world, right? In a zombie apocalypse. Here we go with the rabbit hole. If a zombie apocalypse actually did happen, I don't think there's going to be gang-like factions that are going to be out there. You get my stuff, or I'm going to kill you, or whatever. Grow that corn, boy, that kind of stuff. Nobody's going to be like, piss off. Do it yourself, man. Oh, by the way, there's 6 zombies behind you, right? So many weird moments where it was like, why not just do this? The ending was laughable. 28 days later, 28 weeks. Okay, so it was 28 weeks later. I thought that's what it was, but yeah, I haven't seen 28 years later, and I don't plan on it. It's just it wasn't really my thing to begin with. Um, it was interesting about the rage virus that was originally from rage monkeys or whatever. The rage virus that came from monkeys, I guess. If I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. So, where they're not dead, they're just like, they become animalistic, right? So the infection just drives their animalistic, anger, and hostility rating goes whoop right through the roof. They have a sequel to 28 years later coming up. What? What? Wow. You know, it's probably be a cool time right now, I guess, to talk about they aren't dead. They're just mean. Right? They're not dead. At the end of the first one, 28 days later, um, what was it? The helicopter's flying overhead or something like that, and it shows them they're starving to death, right? Because they just like they're not there. They just want to be, no, thank you for the 28 years later sequel. Let's make a sequel to a movie that's already bad. That's a good idea. Oh, why not? But I was going to say, speaking of sequels, um, you look back, and in all honesty, the 80s, the 80s were the jam when it came to movies. Now, I know a lot of people will look back on a lot of them and be like, oh, those are campy as hell. True. A lot of them are. They weren't back then. But if we compare to the CGI of today, then yeah, they're obviously, campy. A lot of them had really good stories, but they didn't have that technology, I guess, that we have today. But here's the thing. They were intuitive stories. They were fresh stories. They weren't remakes of something that came out in the 70s or the 60s or the 50s or whatever the hell, right? They were fresh ideas. These people used their imagination and then got a screenwriter and then boom, snowballed from there into whatever movie. Nightmare on Elm Street, Aliens, The Thing. I mean, and I'm just naming off ones that I personally like. Just saying. um, but these '80s movies rocked it out. But now look how stagnant it's become, right? Where everything's either a remake or a 20-year-old sequel to, right? Fill in the blank of whatever movie you want. And it's or taking a movie and just sequel the snot out of it, until it's like, oh, that last one didn't do all right, well, I guess we're done with that. I thought they did that actually with the Friday the 13th movies. I thought they sequeled the snot out of it. I just didn't. The first few were great. Kind of like with the Halloween movie with Michael Myers. I thought the first few were great, and then they just kind of, again, over time, people were just like, well, let's ride this horse until it's dead, right? We'll squeeze as many dollars as we can out of that idea, you know. Um, but nobody's coming up with any fresh ones, and it's pretty sad. Now you got to look into 7 Days to Die PlayStation game. My buddy and I played that, and it just got the PC update where it has everything zombie. Yes, yes, I have seen that. I have seen that game. Um, 7 Days to Die. I saw. What was the other game? It was creepy as hell too. Oh, The Forest. I want to say it's called The Forest. It's not. It's not. I don't think it's a zombie game, but it's just a real creepy, creepy type of game. Um, I think everything has been done at this point. Steal like an artist. Get inspiration from a film and try and twist it a bit, but even worse than has been done. Right. Forest was great too. Yeah, not zombies, but hunter gatherer style. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen that. I don't have it, but I've seen it and whatnot. Um, I've played a buttload of zombie games in my time. Some were really good. Some not so much. There was a Romero zombie game. Okay, I'm gonna have to dig through my memory banks here. There was a Romero zombie game. Let me see if I can remember it. I want to say that it was Road to Fiddler's Green. It might have been a name like that. Road to Fiddler's Green. Old game. I remember playing that one. Um, there was a couple on Steam that were like free to play. That I got into, and then the servers, shut down because they just wasn't they weren't updating it anymore. So, um, but yeah, zombie games, if done great, if done right, I mean, can be like I don't consider. You must have heard of DayZ, right? I played that when it was just a mod for Arma 2 on the PC, and then it turned into a full fledged game afterwards, which I ended up getting. And to me, it's a PvP battle royale arena. But just massive land scale, right? That's what I think of DayZ, because the zombies aren't even the big deal in the game. It's avoiding other players is the big game. So I really don't. DayZ is, to me, is just like a crap game to begin with. But say la vie. Oh shoot, I almost forgot. I'm at my dad's house, dog sitting, and he has a collection of models, a bunch of ships, and I got a picture of the USS North Carolina that is in the box still. I have a pic. Oh, sweet. Oh, that's like super cool. Yeah, well, I'm glad you're here because earlier on in the stream there, I was referencing your name. I was like, oh, firefighter in his last stream. So I dropped I was dropping, your channel there, and I was like, go to his channel, see his last stream. And I said, for a brief moment, he mentioned something that I didn't get a chance to, and it might have been right at the end of it. That you would mention that, oh yeah, yeah, he's doing that's right, he's doing that RC Warship thing, and I was like, oh no, 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 I'm not. This is a static display. I'm not doing what I did way back when, right? I don't know if let me see. Hang on just a second. I'll give you the last image. Ba-dunk. Look at that. Sound effects are free. All right. That right there is the very last picture. I had other pictures because I had actually did a lot more progress than that. But that was 23 years ago, and that was, again, the last picture that I have of the process of that ship. That is the USS North Carolina. That's the exact same thing that I'm doing here. However, I don't need to cut holes, let you see, for the turrets. I don't need to cut out the ribs so that there's space for all the electronics, all the gobbledygook that comes with the turrets, to make them so that they're all radio controlled and stuff like that. So I'm not doing the RC component at all. This is literally just static display only. I'll be making a case for it. I know it sounds kind of weird because it's 7'7", but I'll be making a case for it with plexiglass. It'll be lit on the inside. It's gonna look nice. It's gonna be nice. Road to Fiddler's Green. Yeah, so I did have it right on the PC. Yep. And I remember you said you weren't going to battle with this new. Yeah, yeah. It just I didn't know if it was just the way you said it in the live stream. I was like, I wish I was like voiced on the live stream. I'd be like, no. I'm not going that far. No, it's static only, man. Static only. Back then, 23 years ago, I was stupid enough to fall for. I'm gonna make a 7'7" battleship that I can float on the pond so it can be sunk by other ships. So, 23 years later, let's fast forward to now. Hell no. Do a live stream. Is that even possible? Yes, it is. Well, yeah, it is. Oh, I just hit the mic. Yes, it is possible. What's that thing called? StreamYard. You go to StreamYard, which I've used before numerous times. I actually did a live stream early on this channel, showcasing it just to see if it worked, and it did. I can't remember which one it was, but I did do a live stream using StreamYards, and nobody else joined because it wasn't the intent. I was just like, oh, I'm going to see if StreamYards works. Yeah, sure enough. Yeah, it works. The free, you're limited. You are limited. I mean, you're limited to what you can add, logos and backgrounds and all. You can do all sorts of funky stuff. However, there is a monthly charge if you want to be able to really kick it up a notch. But I'm like, if I had let's say you had like a normal job, and when I say a normal job, I'm talking like a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, whatever, right? Not all over the place like you do as a firefighter. When there's nothing wrong with that, I'm just saying, like, if you and I were like, hey, you know what? Let's, once every 2 weeks or whatever, right? So 2 times a month we'll hook up and we'll do a StreamYard, live event or whatever, and talk about football, or whatever the hell's coming on our mind, which could be 1,000,001 topics. Then it would be worth it, in my mind, to pay for the monthly of StreamYard on the basic level. but yeah, we on the free level, you could get away. Again, it's like beyond basic, but you could totally get away with it. There's nothing fancy about it. It's just like doink doink, and there's two people. Talk amongst yourselves. It cut out on my end for a sec. I'm back again. Oh, no worries. It is stupid expensive. Yeah, I can't remember how much StreamYard uh, is was. Um, yeah, guess who's trying to search? I'm trying to search. Okay. StreamYards, StreamYard price. All right, let's go. What do we got? Get started. I don't want to get started. Just give me a damn price. All right. This is a comparison. I don't care. Why? Why do you do that? Oh, that's Riverside. I don't care about River. There we go. All right, so you got the free. Here we go. Individual, you have free, a 7-day free trial, which is called the core, and then you have the advanced, no commitments, easy to cancel. I like how it says plans and pricing, but it doesn't show pricing. It shows the plans, so that's nice. Okay, so what's the price though? It just has the start 7-day free trial. I do not want to. You know what? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Well, I do, but I don't care right now. Let's see. It was like $20, and now it's over 40. Really? That's like a month. Ugh. Oofta. Ah. Ooh. Ah. Ah. 40 a month. You're killing me, Smalls. Good God. Nope. Ain't gonna do that. Free is me, man. Yeah. Let's chomp on this a little bit. Da 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 da. Geez, I wonder what that snippet's from. 1035 a week. Oh yeah, well I guess that makes sense to where it's around the $40, $50 range a month. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for looking that up, by the way. Yeah, that's if you're like really serious. Like if you have a group of people, and I that's what I was getting at. Like if there was a group of us, like say you, myself, Moto Alley, and Moto Bomb, or whatever. Like say that was like we were always hanging out and whatnot, and all of us had like a certain time where we could hook up online. Could be at night, could be in the morning, could be in the afternoon, whatever day. Then it would be, I think, worth it because the last time I was in a group that used it, everybody we basically said, let's get the big option and split the price, and everybody pays equal price, right? And of course, I couldn't do it, and I told them I couldn't do it, but they were like, "No, no, we got you covered." And I was like, "Well, that's nice because I can't do it." That was nice of them to do, though. There's the way. There is a way to have guests on OBS. Yes, I think you're right because I think I actually saw that, but it's one, right? I don't think you can have more than one on OBS, and I don't know what that would do to your PC. Not like your specific PC, but like mine is ancient, bad. It is old. The fact that I'm still able to use it to do this surprises me. But regardless, if another person was to come on OBS, which OBS can be a hog, like my CPU usage, for instance, is pretty steady at around 8 point, question mark, right? Percentage for CPU. But I'm at a very low kbps. I'm also only at 30 frames a second. Like I'm really at the bare minimum for streaming requirements through OBS with this PC. Um, yeah, well, see that is there's the thing. It's free. Might actually do that. Um, look into it rather. I might actually look into it and see if we can't hook up and you know try it. And if you're not available because of you're a busy guy, I don't know. I'll try and grab somebody and be like, hey, let's test this out, man. Let's wing it. I'll have to put two wanted posters. No, it would be a completely different backdrop for it. If I remember correctly, it involves a site where you stream the video through the website and capture on OBS. It's complicated. Yeah, complicated 2.0. Um, God, there was another one. There was StreamYard, and then there was something else. Free stream or it did basically what you just said, and I'll be darned if my memory just went. So I can't remember that. And it does exactly. And the program I'm thinking of actually literally does exactly what you just said. It restream. That's what it was. Restream. Okay. Don't ask what that just was. Okay. Nobody saw anything. It's called restream. So restream is what that you just said. I like StreamYard because when I do my podcast style interviews, it sends them an official email as an invitation. Oh, yeah, I suppose. Yeah. And then that way they just open up the email, click on a link, and then they just kind of insta join, I would assume. But Restream, that was I'm going to look it up. You're going to be faster than me at it, but I'm still going to do it. Restream. Look at that. Restream.io official. Blah blah blah. That has plans and all that other crap too. Um, we'll sign in. Yeah, create and multi-stream live videos. Of course, it's still loading. And it's still loading. And, oh, there we go. What? Okay, 16 a month. 3 channels at once. Okay, so if you wanted to multi-stream on Restream, 3 channels at once, paired channels plus custom RTMP, cloud recordings and transcription, no Restream watermark. So I'm wondering, there's got to be a free version to this. Because if it says no Restream watermark, then that means you can pretty much do it for free, but you get a Restream watermark. Restream Studio, personal logos and graphics, 10 on-screen participants. So that's like StreamYards, except cheaper. All right, that's cool. Nice. Oh, I'm on the free plan. Yeah, there it is. Yep, I'm on the free plan. I might as well just save that, just in case. I might need it. Just saying. Just saying. Um, but I think the free is 2 hours a month worth, which works for my interviews. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you talking Restream would work for that? I have a way to delete their watermarks live. Ah, free is there. That's funny. You heard it here first, sports fans. You know, this is one thing I wonder. I wonder if I could do. Could I? Could I play an audio? Maybe. I'd have to open it up. I don't know. No, still was talking about StreamYards. Oh yeah, I don't even know about Restream. Yeah, check it out. Restream, $16 a month. Yeah, if you wanted to shave some like moolah, I guess. I guess it's better than the $40 a month. I would assume. But all right, where? I don't know if I can get the audio. I do not know where to find it. Now, see, being prepared. Nope. Not prepared in the slightest. That's right. Not prepared in the slightest. I still got to send you. I still got to send you an email. I was talking about that too earlier. I was like, oh, I gotta. I didn't send him an email like I was supposed to, but then I explained about the video that popped out, Rascals Rewind, and why it was called like Rascals Rewind, and yeah, yeah, it was a mess, absolute mess. But hopefully it's squared away, and I will think twice before making videos and make sure like, are you even thinking or gleaning an idea of doing a live stream? Because if you are, shut that crap down. Because once you make videos and then you live stream, those videos almost become null and void, especially if you're live streaming about the same damn thing that you just talked about in the video. Yep. 16 a month is 7 monsters. No, thank you. Not a fair trade. Think of the children. Somebody's children out there. I know. No rush. My phone call opened up my weekend. Good, bad call. Good that it opened up your weekend. Bad that you're probably not getting paid. Right? I would assume. That is the good and bad that comes along with that. Um, were was this your weekend to be on call? And they just shut it down. They were like, "Nah, we don't need you. No, we don't need you, buddy." In a good way. It's like, "Nah, we don't need you. We don't need you, you big old loaf." There we go. Don't mind me. I'm just changing the pictures from time to time, depending on the topic. I have pictures just about everything. Just about everything. so, so I'm gonna bounce back to the topic. Only because I can't get it out of my head since I started it today. Um, the wildfire, Project Wildfire. Um, so the radio station, if you missed it, so I have this idea, right? And I'm not going to go through it, but I have this idea. So I was writing down some stuff, and I use this program for my audio right now, and it works really well, and it's free, fully functional. It's called Audacity, and it's really neat. Um, Pretty simplistic to use. I wouldn't say there. I think there's a medium learning curve, not a steep one. I think most people can kind of like just kind of common sense it, and pick up, pretty quickly with it. But Audacity is an amazing audio program that I've used for years, depending on whatever project that I need. Um, you match that once you get the audio, but you match that and you take it from Audacity and then you combine it into Canva, right? And then that's where a lot of my videos that I've done in the past I've done. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Long story, but under the circumstances, it's for the best. No, never on call. More time to hang here and edit. Also, email whenever if you want to talk editing. I love it. Absolutely. Um, yep, I know about Audacity. Free and works great. So, yeah, it sounds like you've used it. Um, the things that you can do with it are really, really neat. And I'm really looking forward to. I don't know if I want to make videos on the project and just do simple verbal updates to the project, because if I start throwing the snippets out there, and making videos of it, like this is what I've got so far, and then you guys either watch, listen, or just listen, depending on what I have done. Um, it kind of breaks it, right? You know, um, but firefighter, definitely will email you. Matter of fact, I can do it now. Let's see. Where are you? Feeder. Feeder. However the hell you say it, right? That's your YouTube. I don't see your email though. Under your description, talk about your 2011 Honda Shadow Platinum. I need new glasses. Phantom. There we go. Blah blah blah. Or a comedic twist on everyday moments. You? Pfft, cut it out. I see no email. I see youtube.com/@firefighter. But I don't see. Where else would it be? Where else would it be? Those are posts. I'm not seeing it. Go to my community. Right? Your post. Is that? All right. Oh, I'm still not seeing it. Second pick at the bottom. How many posts have you made, man? This is one scrollable freaking list. Molly, you're fine. 2 years ago. Wait, stop. Hammer time. All right. Okay. I stopped, man. Let's start over. Let's everybody back up. Take a breath. Enjoy the moment. Done. Okay. Let's do this. Community post 10 days ago. Okay, 10 days ago. Now he wants 10 days ago. 5 hours. Wait a minute. 12 days ago. Happy Halloween. Okay, there's Happy Halloween. Read more. Blah, 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 blah. Well, episode two. Second picture in the post. In the picture? Couldn't make it clickable? What in the hell? Can't even spell fire right. Good lord. It's the kind of people I'm working with here. It's fine. We still love you. All right. Go to here. How do we compose? Let's compose ourselves. Let's compose ourselves. Fire. Fighter. And I can't see, and now I just lost it again. Sacre bleu. All right. At Gmail, right? F-Y, oh, wait a minute. F-Y-E-R. Oh, you friggin' scrub nut. Okay, so compose again, right? Are we composing again? We're composing again. Okay, so the backwards misspelled firefighter at gmail.com. Did I get that? I got that. All right. Subject. All right. There. Now, assuming that went well, assuming this went according to plan, somebody is getting a really short email that will make 0 sense. And if it's you, hey, we get it. You were like, all right, gotcha, right? Yeah. Oh, okay, see? It is you. Oh, better to laugh than to cry. Glad you got it. There we go. Now, that's a good strong foothold. That's a beginning. It's a baby step. And other analogies that I can't think of right now. So what do you think about this? Yeah, I'm going to bounce from subject to subject. What do you think about this? Okay. So you just got done. Picture this. You just got done listening to a song on the radio. You're switching stations. Song catches your ear, and you're like, yeah, jamming. Woo. Right? It ends, and you're like, wow, that sucks. Then you hear a voice on the radio, right? It says, man, that was a great hit. Another #1 chart topper of the States. You are listening to WQRP Bismarck, your all-encompassing source for sports, news, and weather. Stay tuned. We got more hits on the way. I'll let you mull over that. Are we talking like thumbs up? Are we talking get this guy off the stage? He's going to wreck his career, if he even had one. So what do you think of something like that? That's the kind of radio announcing that that you're going to hear on Project Wildfire. And I figured, you know what? I don't want to do all AI voice. I just want to be, and I might be able to tinker around with Audacity because I know you can switch. You can change your voice only so much in Audacity without it literally. It's the same voice, just deeper, or the same voice, but just higher pitched, or, that type of thing. I'd really, really have to muck with it. But again, there's no rush, so I'm cool. Send it. I'm for it. If you have fun with it, it was show through you. It will show through your work. I get you what you're saying. It'll show through your work. Cool. Now that's cool. That's cool. Oh wait a minute. I can't remember what drawer that was in. That one. There we go. We're all good. We're good. Oh, hey, here we go. You calling my email spam? Man, I don't even like spam. Ooh, what scale is that? So, your pop does scale model. My old man glasses on here. Oh, made in Japan. Oh, 700 scale. See, and I used to do ship models in that very same scale, and and a little bit bigger. I've done them in 350 scale as well, which is they're about like 2.5 feet, maybe 2 feet, long, I guess, in that scale. Two and a half, depending on the ship. He has a bunch of them on the shelves. So yeah, he does models. That's wicked, man. No, that is totally cool. I used to do models until my eyes got really bad. Then I switched from the small like scale model type stuff to the bigger stuff, but then I couldn't afford it because the bigger scale model crap like the 350s and whatnot, unless you're friggin' gifted those, they're like a couple $100 for a plastic model kit, right? And I always thought that, well, if I'm going to spend that much money into making a model kit, I'm going to do it from scratch, you know. So, eh, yeah, it was one of those things. But no, my eyes was the biggest downfall. I can't, and of course my coordination, because when you have two reconstructive surgeries and nerve damage in one of your arms, things just they drop, and it's hard. It's really difficult to just kind of like work with this stuff. So then I started going. A good friend of mine, Schumann, uh, he lives in Washington State. Well, at least for the next couple of years. He plans on moving to Nebraska when he retires. That's in a couple of years. But he loves to 3D print, and I get a lot of 3D, all my 3D prints from him, and he enjoys it. And of course, I enjoy it as well. Um, he cuts me, really decent deals. He's gifted me some, that might have had like an imperfection in the print. He reprinted it because he dialed his printer in, and that's the one that he's gonna do. And he's like, "Hey, I got this one. Do you want it?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. I don't care. Defects are part of the plan." World War II planes when we were growing up. Same. We went to Normandy for the 75th anniversary. Oh, that's badass. He is really into history, and it's been fun sharing that with him, at least with the World War II for me. Yeah, yeah, you got that connection with Pop. That's pretty cool, man. That really is. And it's it warms my heart. I'm gonna be serious for a second. It does warm my heart that you have that connection. Um, I never had that connection with my dad. It was the only connection that I had with him was service related. Um, I joined the army, and he was proud of that. But beyond that, Yeah, well, I could get into a sob story, but I'm not going to. But anyways, I respect his term in service, and that was our connection. But there wasn't anything beyond that. So it's cool to hear other like people like you and stuff like that talk about their relationship with their pop and whatnot. That's just like freaking cool, man. And that's something that you keep, forever. You're gonna remember those times. You know, I am very lucky and will say blessed to have that relationship. I know it doesn't always end up that way. No, it doesn't. But yeah, you're definitely blessed, man. But going back to the 3D prints, I'll show you one that I'm working on. Matter of fact, you can kind of see them in the backdrop, uh, right there. Anybody, raise your hand if you've seen Lord of the Rings. Okay, it's a good show of hands. Um, this is the Balrog. Um, he printed it, and of course, it does come in pieces, so it's almost like a model kit. You do have to put it together. Give me a sec. Let me go over